What's up, y'all, and welcome to What's Good Music Podcast. And today,
we got a good one.
We got a good one. We are going to be talking about Drake's debut album, Thank Me Later. The first studio album Drizzy Drake put out.
Facts. Now, it could be a controversy on if it's actually the first one, but So Far Gone was a mixtape, so.
It was a mixtape, and I mean...
Others will say differently, but,
I mean, it's kind of like what The Weeknd did with Trilogy. Like, he released 3 mixtapes, and then it composed it into the trilogy.
Exactly.
And then, So Far Gone was a mixtape, and then it came out as like an album after Drake started getting a lot more buzz and becoming somebody.
Exactly.
But yes, today we're going to talk about Thank Me Later.
What are we gonna talk about? We're going to go through all the songs.
We're going to go through all the songs. We're going to talk about songs we like, songs we might not really like that much anymore. How has the album changed? The album came out in 2010, I think June-ish, July of 2010.
Can't really tell you. I know definitely 2010.
I know it was the summer.
Yeah.
So that makes it 14 years old now. So
January
1st
came out the first New Year's Day. Yep.
That's what the internet is saying?
That's what Spotify's saying right now.
Ooh, okay.
Fact check that one.
Okay. I don't remember it coming out in January. That's a little odd. Because Apple Music is saying June 15th, 2010. So, and I remember it being more June. So let's go with Apple Music. Nobody listens to Spotify anyway.
I mean, Apple Music did just have a controversial top 100 album.
Hey man, at least they had the balls to put out a top 100, whereas Spotify's top 100.
We know where we need to stay. We stay in our lane.
Okay.
We know what we're talking about.
Okay. So, yeah. Anywho, let's get back to the discussion. So, first song, Fireworks. Very first collaboration with the great Alicia Keys and Drizzy Drake.
So fine.
I mean...
So fine.
Great introduction, great production. And I would say Drake had some flow on this song. He spit some bars.
Yeah. So as an intro song, I think starting off strong with a good feature, especially on your debut album, kind of like a good solid move. I think as a full introduction into the music industry, Alicia Keys kind of during that time period, perfect.
Oh yeah, she was on top. That was like part of her prime, 2010.
Yep. Definitely
some quotable lines. Definitely, again, some good flow. One of my favorite lines is when he was like, "My 15 minutes started an hour ago."
So how would you feel like this aged?
I feel it aged pretty well.
Yeah.
I go back to it. It's in my rotation. I love Alicia Keys on the chorus and the hook. It's, again, I love the production. It's got very good vibes, and it's definitely one of my go-tos, especially whenever I want to go back to this album in particular. Probably whenever I go back to this album, I'll probably start with Fireworks.
So definitely having Alicia Keys on the chorus, good point. Definitely Drake kind of showed off his lyricism, but also like his singing abilities, because we all know he can sing.
Correct, but up until that point, we still didn't know much about Drake.
Exactly.
And we didn't really know what kind of artist he was trying to be, or what exactly lane he wanted to be in. Because there was the big discussion of, well, like, is he a rapper or is he an R&B artist?
Exactly.
What? And then obviously it came out, well, he's both. He wants to do both.
And there wasn't honestly any like, no one did it like that. There was no rapper. There was no slash R&B singer. No. I mean, Chris Brown back in the day, I mean, he wasn't really rapping like that. He was just doing his R&B stuff.
Yeah, he was definitely more of an R&B artist. Yeah. I would not say Chris Brown was a rapper.
Exactly. But I'm looking at this right now. I'm gonna be honest. I did not know Boy Wonder produced this, which is a very early song. Because me personally, I thought Boy Wonder came into producing his music more along the lines of like Nothing Was the Same Views era. not this early.
Yeah, Boy Wonder's been with him since the beginning.
A while, yeah. So I do like it. As a intro song, I think definitely a good start to the album. I can't really go wrong.
No.
Good melodies, good vibes. Sets the bar right. It doesn't set it high. Expectations are really staying level, and that's really the biggest thing. So I think it's a good start to the album.
How do you feel? Now, what are your thoughts on Karaoke?
Karaoke now again goes back to his singing, his vocalist. And is it a song that I will come back to very often? Not really. It's not something that I go back to search for. But if you're just playing out your whole playlist that have all your songs and this comes on, it's getting a pause. We listen to it.
Exactly.
We listen. I can't reach that octave in that voice. I definitely be trying in the car.
Yeah. It's definitely a shorter song. I would say it's kind of more like an interlude, if maybe, depending on if you base it on other interludes he's had. It's kind of got that same vibe. He says some true shit in it too. And another song that I really enjoy the production of. I don't exactly know who produced it. Could be 40.
Produced by Francis and the Lights.
Francis and the Lights. Okay, not familiar with them.
No, but written by Francis, Drake, and 40.
Written.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, 40 had some writing credits on it.
He has a lot of writing credits throughout the whole.
Never. I always just knew him as a producer. I never dived into him as a writer. That's interesting.
His lyric, he was like, "Now I'm singing karaoke better than ever. Now before." So basically talking about how coming from Toronto and now coming from singing karaoke, now he's in the industry,
right,
doing an album. And that the lyric, that reference back to J-Lo, the wedding planner.
Yeah.
Man, I had high hopes for him.
And J-Lo?
And J-Lo, man. Who doesn't want J-Lo, to be honest? Come on, man.
I mean...
Come on, man. It's J-Lo.
I know, but if we're talking about like older women like that, I would still pick Jennifer Aniston over J-Lo any day.
I don't know. I love my Latinas. I like
That's fine.
my caramel complexion, but that's me.
That's fine, but
That's me. So
if we're going like 50-year-old women, it's Jennifer Aniston all day.
okay,
All day.
all right. Well, so karaoke for you, obviously. Did it age well?
Oh yeah, I think it aged really well. It's definitely a song I go back to a lot if I see it, because a lot of times I just put my entire playlist on shuffle and then just pick what I want to listen to, and if it pops up,
Exactly.
9 times out of 10 gonna play it.
Yeah.
So what would you rate it overall?
Do you want to rate like out of the whole album or just itself as a song?
Yeah.
When we're thinking about this era, production wise, him coming out on the scene, there's some really good melodies in there. I think maybe a solid 8.
Solid 8.
Solid 8. I mean, because me personally, R&B dude, I'm looking for melodies and I'm looking for feel. So it gives that, got some good synth in there with the melodies. It just hits right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd give it a solid 7.
Yeah. Why's that?
There's not much to it. Like I said, it's kind of more like an interlude like song. Again, I'm with you too. I love the melody and the vibe and the production of it. But it's just kind of one of those songs where he's got like a small little verse on it, and then it's kind of over. Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, I think that's ironic because I think the next song, "The Resistance," is more of an interlude than.
It's longer though.
It's 2 seconds shorter.
Oh, you got the.
I got everything pulled up.
Okay.
Playboy, come on, man.
Yeah, but he says so much more in The Resistance.
I think he raps more.
Yeah,
he raps more.
I ain't gonna lie. One of the bars in The Resistance that still stick to this day is when he was like,
"I'm literally looking at my favorite line right now."
What was yours?
It's ironic because my mother was a florist, and that's how she met my pops, and now my garden is enormous.
Yeah, that's good too. But the one where he's like, "This girl that I mess with unprotected sent me a text that she wished she would have kept it." Mm-hmm. The one that I'm laying next to just looked over and read it.
Mm-hmm. Spit it. Let's go.
I couldn't tell you where the fuck my head is. I'm holding on by a thread. I was like, Oh, but no, like, okay, now I remember. It's like, it started with, you hit redial, you see that I just call some chick I met at the mall that I barely know at all, and plus this woman that I mess with unprotected, Texas saying she wish she would have kept it. The one that I'm laying next to just looked over and read it. Man, I couldn't tell you where the fuck my head is. I was like, damn, bro.
I'll be honest, I can't spit that from memory. So I give you props on that.
Yeah.
I give you props on that.
Yeah, it took me a minute. I was like, fuck. Because, yeah, and he was like, because to start it, he was talking about his grandma, and he was like, something about, like, he acts like he doesn't know how to work a phone, but hit redial. You see that I just called this chick I met at the mall. And this is like, yeah, he doesn't have time for his grandmother, but he's got time for all these other thoughts.
There's another line that really referenced with me. It was like, what am I afraid of? This is what pizza be made of. This is what dreams are supposed to be made of. And I was just like, you could have, especially back then when we're still growing up, you can have everything that you want, but you're still going to be afraid to take those leaps. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be like, this is all new ground that you're navigating through.
Right.
And so, like, back then, we're growing up. Again, we don't know what we're supposed to be doing at that age when it came out, especially 2010.
Correct.
We're still kids.
We're teenagers.
Yeah,
we're kids.
So it's just like everything is going to be new. It's like, and we're afraid to try new things.
Correct.
So I think that's what really resonated a lot for me back then. So I like it. For this one, I'm gonna give it a 9 just because it resonates really hard. Just because of the lyrics and everything. Just, it sits well. It aged well. This is one where I'll actually go back and I'll search for it.
100% agree with you. I would give it a 9 too. Definitely aged well. This is one that I really looked at Drake as like a actual good conscious rapper who is actually saying something. Drake always gets, like, people always talk shit like he's not, that great of a rapper. He's not like a typical rapper that talks about selling drugs and all the pussy he gets and this, that, but it's like, because that wasn't his life. He does rap about his life and things that he went through, and of course it's more like what people like, oh, he's so sappy, but it's more relationship stuff. It's more about women. It's
personable.
Yeah, it's personal stuff. That's why, like, one of my biggest arguments when people said he doesn't write his own lyrics, I said his music is too personal for it to not be from him.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't make sense for anybody to else write these bars.
And it's just, that's another tangent we can go off of, but like, he's been writing for many huge artists since before he was even signed by Wayne.
I could just name a couple songs off the top of my head that he wrote for other artists. Like, one of my favorite Alicia Keys song, Unthinkable. He wrote that.
Talk that. All right, first check he ever got, Dr. Dre, from writing for Dr. Dre.
Right.
Simple, easy. So it's just like, it's not like he doesn't have the credits. They're there.
And that's also how musicians collab in general. Like, they can give each other so many different things. Like, it's not like he's writing everything. No, you have somebody writing for you. No, I don't. We are collaborating. We do that. Like,
exactly.
If it's a song or a beat that, like, I wasn't necessarily feeling, but it's in my catalog, and then I bring another artist and they really liked it and they fuck with it, I'll give it to them. They can have it.
Exactly.
Like, that happens all the time.
All right. Over. Next one.
Over. All right. First Drake single,
honestly,
off this album, and
great. I mean, this is where, like, you drop bars.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a song for, like, we're talking that, like, anything personal. This is where he's dropping bars. That's a single, club music.
Yep.
And that's the hook to the album. That's what hooks you in.
Good album, or excuse me, good song. Loved it when it was a single. Might have even heard it before it officially became a single. It probably leaked. I think it did.
Everything leaked on SoundCloud back in the day.
SoundCloud, or just the internet in general. Yeah. Like, and
you got Dat Piff back there too.
Dude, Dat Piff is dead. It went off. Yeah. And that was like, so, because I remember spending hours on Dat Piff, like on a Saturday in school, downloading music. These kids don't know anything about downloading music.
Importance.
But Over, definitely one of those good songs where he was showing off his rapping ability, and he, I think, two verses or three. I think it's two. It's like he starts and then he's got the chorus and then another verse and then it's over. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. They're long verses though.
Yeah, the long verses, and he's just flowing.
I don't think they're 16 bars. I think it was either 24 or 36. So it's long stuff, but then you got the chorus in the middle, and then you go right back into it. And I think that the second one's a 16 bar. So, honestly, important for this song, with it being the first single, I think it was a good marketing for it, a good starter, good little taste of what's to come up, because obviously first album, and you want to put something out there for the people to indulge in, and you want it to hit, you want it to just grab people's attentions. Like, it's all about attention span when it comes into the music industry, and I think for that to be the first single to release, I think that was a good move.
Absolutely
good move.
Because again, this early on, we still didn't really know who Drake was or what he was exactly trying to be. So again, this was a good example of his rapping ability and what kind of rapper he was about or trying to be or could be, and what kind of subjects and topics he was going to rap about.
I agree.
So I would give this song an 8 out of 10.
What are you thinking? Why?
Because again, it's definitely one of those songs I go back to quite a bit and still know it by heart. And I honestly haven't fully actually listened to it probably in a year.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I probably haven't gone back to this album in a little while.
Yeah.
But
now that we're talking about it, you're gonna go back through
probably
it recently.
Yeah. Probably this week I'll probably go back and listen to this album again. Very good album. Definitely the album that really got me into Drake and started really diving into his discography.
Yep.
Definitely the first album that I really loved the whole thing all the way through.
Gotcha. No, I agree. I think I want to go 7, to be honest, just because, again, just like you, I don't go back and search it very often. It's been a while since I've heard it, besides today, just to kind of get like the overview again. Great bars, again, perfect single to start the album, but importance to me, it's just not really there. There's a lot more songs
that you would listen to before.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Especially on this album. So I think a 7 is a good number. I think that.
I will say it's definitely more of a rookie-ish rap song. Like, the bars aren't like epic.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely spit way
harder.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, still new to the game. We're still trying to figure out who he is. He's trying to figure out who he is in the industry.
Correct.
So he's trying to pave his way. So
it's also very catchy too.
Yeah. So definitely 8, 7, good numbers.
So then we have Show Me a Good Time.
Sheesh. My God. 10.
Really?
That's a 10.
Really?
That's a 10 for me.
That's a 10?
I'm going to be honest.
Right off the bat.
Off the bat. First 10 of the album.
Okay.
First 10 of the album.
No, this is a good song. Good song. I liked it. Actually produced by Kanye. Had this. This was his song. I don't know. It obviously didn't have like a title or anything, and he gave it to Drake.
How did I end up right here with you? That's the first opener.
Right here.
Line.
Yeah.
After all the things that I've been through. Listen, talking that talk. Especially, I probably was going through my first heartbreak around this time too.
Boy.
Man.
All right, that's a whole nother podcast for a whole nother time.
It is, but this song speaks to it, man. That's why it's a solid 10.
Solid 10. I'm with you.
You got vocals. You got rap. A little bit of hip hop in there. You're spitting some lines, and it just resonates. Good beat.
Yes.
Obviously, Kanye back in the day, especially during this time.
Kanye is always will be, even though obviously
he's going through his thing.
The man's, regardless of his personal life.
Yep.
The man musically is a genius, and production, he's an amazing producer. That's how he started, was a producer, and yes. Everything he touches musically is good. But back to this, yes, Show Me a Good Time. Definitely one of my favorites off the album. I would probably give it high 6, low 7. it's definitely not a 10 for me, and I wouldn't so much say an 8. I mean, I like it, but it's not like a super favorite of mine. Probably be one of the, out of this whole album. Now, okay, this whole album I can listen to, and I like every song on the album, but it's on the lower end of songs I would go back to.
Okay.
On the album.
Fair. Everyone's has their opinion. I think, honestly, Show Me a Good Time, always going to be a song I'm going to go search for. Always going to be a song that where me personally, I want to rap and I want to sing at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
That's just me.
No, I'm with you.
That's just me. It just hits the feels in all the right ways for me. I probably was going through something during this time, and this was just the song that
back when you thought you were a super stud and you had all the
quiet, going through heartbreak, just like it's one of those. So it's just like not knowing how to maneuver through the feelings. So the only way to go through feelings is the music.
Right.
This resonated. So like I said, 10 from the jump. This will always be a song where it's just going to be a pinnacle on the album for me. It's definitely top 2.
Okay.
Well, top 3. Top 3
on the whole album.
Yeah.
Okay.
Top 3.
What about Up All Night?
Kush roll glass full.
I prefer the better things. Featuring Nicki.
Talk it. Let's discuss it. How'd you feel?
I love it. This was one of my favorite.
This was the second single.
It was. Yeah, Kush roll glass full. I prefer the better things. He was definitely spitting, and so was Nicki. This one is definitely one of my top go back tos whenever I go back to this album.
100%.
And anytime it pops up when I'm shuffling my library, definitely put that on and vibe to it for real.
So I think this is a good song to where like you can listen to anywhere. Like it's a good head bop in the car. If you're at the crib, just got the subwoofer, you knock that bitch.
Oh yeah.
And then even at the gym, like you want to get a little spicy, you need a little pick me up.
Yeah.
Like just turn this on. It's just like as soon as it starts, the first few words, just like, all right, we're here.
Yeah. We're here. All right, let's get it done.
Yep. And then Nicki comes in and just bodies.
And this was early Nicki and early Drake. And this was the beginning of the Young Money era too.
This was Young Money back then.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me shit. Especially when this was right before Wayne went to jail, and
I think he was in jail at this time.
He might have been.
He was in jail. This album.
This is when Drake was hopping on everything.
Yeah. Because he just became the hottest thing, and everybody was wanting him featured on everything.
It was Drake and Nicki doing everything while Wayne was in jail, just to keeping that label alive. Bro, you can't get better. Especially if we're talking timeline, this is a pinnacle song for the label.
Absolutely.
Pinnacle song.
So what would you give it?
That's a 10.
That's a 10? Damn.
I'm on a diet, but I'm doing donuts in a 6-speed. Okay. I'm going to do 10 just because, again, this is a song I have on many playlists. And as a music aficionado, I have many playlists. So, like, to keep this on a few.
Yeah, see, as a Spotify person, you have to make playlists. You don't really have to. I mean, I got a couple of playlists, but. Going there.
Hey, come to the black side. Come on. Come to the black side. That's it.
The black side?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Spotify, that's its whole theme is black.
Okay. So.
And Apple is usually white.
For the Caucasians?
White people and white background theme. So, yeah, I'm going to give this a 10. I think for the second single off the album, gives you bars, gives you an amazing feature. It's a song that you always going to come back to. You always going to search it. And then it just hypes you up.
Yeah, Nicki was one of my favorite bars. She was like, can't even rock them shoes unless a comma's on the price tag. But I mean, who looks at the price tag, you know?
You just don't even know. They talking that talk.
I mean, I look at the price tag.
Listen, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. Maybe one day.
I don't have any shoes with a comma on the price tag.
We're not there yet.
I mean, the most expensive shoes I have are $400. That was a gift that was a Christmas present from my dad.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 10. That's a solid 10.
I'll definitely give it a 9.
9? Yeah. I'm ready to see what's going to hit that pinnacle 10.
Officer Harris.
You getting ready, so I know you're going to be here a while. Bars.
flat irons and nail files.
Spending hours in the salons on your hairstyle. Man. All right, let's talk
Hit
about
the mall, steady racking up the air miles. Hit the gym, step on the scale, stare at the number.
And
Say
you don't do it for the man. Men never notice.
You just do it for yourself. You do the cause.
coolest.
All right, yeah, let's review it.
Getting in it. Let's go. What do you think?
Oh, I love it. Loved it from the jump. And this is a good example of what I used to, I always loved about Drake is how he transitions in songs. Like this starts out as a rap song, and at the end, the beat slows down, and then it's a lot slower, and he's still kind of rapping, but it's a little bit more personal, and he's telling a story with it, and that's what really got me with this whole album, and that's what he showed about who he tries to be and what he wants to be, and how he can just transition like that.
He's versatile.
Yeah,
I mean that's just always been him with his whole career. But to start off with something strong like this album, and you hit this with that switch up, yeah. It also helps to have Swiss Beats as a producer. That's a classic. I thought you were recording the whole time. That would have been great.
Oh man, I don't want to embarrass you. You know,
Bro, we here having fun. Those are good clips, man.
I understand.
But as Swiss B as a collaborator for a producer, I
think I've always thought Swizz was a little underrated producer.
Yes, he stays low. He stays low key. But he's had his hits.
And T.I. had, he came through and put some good bars on the track too. That was honestly when T.I. was still good. He had just dropped what was that? What was that album with Whatever You Like, and
I have no idea.
Paper Trail.
That's
what it was called.
Because you had JT on.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake on. Oh,
yep. Fuck. What is that song?
Damn.
We about to get roasted. Paper Trails, JT and T.I. What are we thinking? What is it? Dead and Gone.
Dead and Gone. That's
Dead and Gone. There we go.
Yeah.
We knew that. All right, let's move on. It's fancy. What are we doing?
10.
Okay. That's a solid 10.
Yeah.
That is
definitely a Drake classic. Definitely aged supremely well, and definitely one of his best songs with the collaborations of Swizz and T.I., and definitely one of the best on this album.
Yeah. Good features. Good verses. Good switch up. Like you never really saw that back then, especially the slowdowns.
Yeah, I love the tail end. Like we talked about, I was switched up, the beat slowed, and it's just Drake going in.
I think 9.5. 9.5. And here's why. I think Fancy as a whole is one of those that you're gonna go search by. Like every time if you have your playlist on shuffle and it comes on, you're not skipping it. You can't.
Right.
You just can't. That's just, if you do,
what are we doing?
Exactly. But I also too feel like it has some good features. Swiss as a producer killed it. I think it could have. I love T.I., but I think T.I. could have been replaced with a better verse. I like his verse wasn't my favorite. No,
yeah, definitely not. I'm not gonna lie to you. Honestly, the best part I love about the song is the end, where the beat slows. Yeah.
So I'll give it a 9.5. Like T.I.'s verse was great, but I feel like it definitely could have hit the vibe a little bit better with a different artist. Okay. But I can think, and I can put myself back in that timeline. Who do you want on that song? And T.I.'s the.
I about to say, go back to that time. T.I. was his era.
So I'll give it a 9.5. That's a solid one.
Ready? Shut It Down.
The Dream. One
of my absolute favorite songs.
Listen.
Love this song. Love The Dream. Haven't seen much of him in a while.
No, he's an incredible writer, incredible producer. And again, back in this era, one of the best R&B creatives that we had in that era.
This is definitely a longer song, and it kind of has a little bit of a switch up at the end too, where it's already kind of a slow song, but it even slows down even more.
He hits the rewind a little bit.
Yep. And then the vibe even gets deeper, and it's like even more intimate, and it's so good. It's definitely one of those late night 2 a.m. in the mornings.
You cruising,
or just even chilling at the house, having a couple drinks and just vibing. And
you thinking about that girl that got away?
Definitely thinking about that girl.
You thinking about her?
Yeah.
You thinking about her?
I mean, aren't we all?
Shit.
I think we all have one.
Listen,
we all have one.
I plead the fifth. Listen, Your Honor. But you get a few glasses of wine in me. This comes on. Yeah. I obviously The Dream, classic R&B producer, especially during this time period, and he's still producing to this day. Me personally, this is not a song that I go search for often. I think this is going to follow along the lines of karaoke, where like if it comes on, I won't skip it. If I'm in the feels, yeah, this is definitely one of the songs where I want a late night cruise. We just vibing. This is it. But it's not on repeat very often, Yeah. It's a very pinpointed feeling that it brings out of you. And I feel like for it to resonate as good as it needs to, it only needs to come out whenever you're in those feels.
Okay.
That's just me. Lyrics wise, killed it. Him and The Dream together, both great lyricists when it comes to love songs.
Oh, absolutely.
So you can't go wrong with that.
I'm not entirely sure, and I'm sure you could look this up, but did The Dream produce this song?
Nope. Drake did.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one of Drake's songs.
Okay.
Yeah. But obviously, Dream wrote his verse. Drake wrote his lines.
Right.
But this is all Aubrey, and then probably 40 master and mixed it.
Yes, this is definitely a major song I go back to off of this album, and just for a Drake song in general. Anytime I see it show up on my shuffle, I will play it. And especially if it's late at night and I'm having some drinks, I love the vibe. And again, especially toward the end when the beat slows down even more and he's really just pouring his heart out. It just gets me in my feelings. I'm like, oh man,
what's in these shots that you ordered us, man? That's the quickest way to get in the feels, bro. I mean, honestly, I'll probably put this as a song as a whole 8. On the album, 7.5.
For me, it's a 10.
It's a 10.
Oh yeah, it's a 10.
Okay. Respect.
Definitely, probably my top now. If you would have asked me my favorite, it probably wouldn't have been this one. It still would have been up there, but nowadays, definitely my number one off this album.
Yeah.
Right.
I love how like over time you can go from one song and then you just like a song you really didn't give any attention to, just you go back to it and you slowly just like sink into it more. You just start. The chains start turning.
I think that also comes with age and different experiences too.
That will play a big role, especially with this type of song, with the feels that it creates.
Because I know one of my biggest things whenever we talk about views is like when it first dropped, I hated it.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Now it is my second favorite album of his. Like it got above Nothing Was the Same.
It aged like wine.
And it is my second favorite of his. I get it. Love that album.
I get it.
But that's another podcast or another episode for another time.
All right. Next one. Unforgettable.
We got the Young Jeezy. Jeezy now.
We got the Aaliyah sample. Epic.
Loved Aaliyah. Do you ever hear his sample with, what is it? It's an underground song, unreleased song. It's Enough with him and Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy.
Bro, I have that on watch later on YouTube.
Oh, dude, it's
all time.
Dude, that's been on my SoundCloud since high school.
We need to talk. That's another topic we need to talk about is all the unreleased songs Aaliyah has that can't be released.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Or even just we could do an episode like on the unreleased Drake songs that never, because I know he dropped Care Package and put a lot of that on there, but he didn't put everything because I still have a lot of stuff on SoundCloud that
Unforgettable, Jeezy.
Decent song.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of Jeezy's verse on it. Not really a song I go back to. It's listenable. If you're playing the whole album, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, skip this, but it's not definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, I get that. Like, again, it kind of goes back to my T.I. comment. there could have been a better feature.
I didn't really like the sample or the chorus where the girl in the background's like, unforgettable.
That's Aaliyah.
Okay, well.
That's Aaliyah.
All right. Well, I wasn't entirely sure. Yeah, I wasn't really feeling that.
That hurts my heart.
Well, maybe because obviously they mixed it a little differently.
Yeah.
It's not the exact same.
Exactly.
So maybe I just didn't like the way they had mixed it into that. And then I didn't really like, again, Young Jeezy's or Drake's bars in the song. I didn't really think.
And this is another song that Drake produced. So I definitely can tell, especially this era, his earlier time, like he pulled a lot of inspiration from Aaliyah. And you can tell from the different features that he had on like songs that never were released.
Yeah.
And this sample included. And the chorus was good. Jeezy's verse was mid. Drake's opening verse, decent. As an overall song, I think I'm gonna put it at a solid 7, and the only thing that's saving it is the Aaliyah sample, just because that just hits home to me. Other than that, not my favorite song on the album. Again, I'm not gonna skip it if it comes on, but it just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 5.
Yeah.
Again, not one of my favorites. Definitely not something I go back to. Depending on the mood I'm in, I'll most likely skip it, or I might just let it play through. If I'm not really paying that much attention, I'll just let it play. But yeah, definitely expect a little bit more from Drake and Young Jeezy. So then we got Light Up, first collaboration with Drake and Jay-Z.
I've been up for 4 days getting money both ways. Listen, first collabing with Jay-Z, Pinnacle. You're always gonna. I feel like as much we talk about Jay-Z a good bit, but whenever he has a solid feature, great. Like this is one out of I think 3 features he's had. Jay-Z.
Yeah, it's like every other album he had a feature with Jay-Z.
Because usually after that second album they're beefing.
Yeah, for whatever. Yeah,
they're good.
Yeah,
and then the next album they're beefing again.
Yeah.
That's usually how it works out.
Weird relationship those two have.
Yep.
I don't even know. Well, he was just on. He started. Yeah, that was the last album he was on.
I think the verse. He'll be the first to shed a tear for Jay.
Pretty sure he was on For All the Dogs too.
You have to look that one up.
Let's see. Okay, nope. I don't know. But yeah, so Certified Lover Boy was the last one Jay-Z was on, which wasn't that long ago. That was 2021, so 3 years ago. Light Up. This is one of my favorite, I guess, hooks from Drake, where he's like, who would have thought I'd be caught in this? Like, I love that.
That, especially with the with the beat behind it.
Yeah,
that's good melodies. So I love how Jay was putting him on game his first album into the industry. I love that reference.
Yeah, and his verse when he's like, when he talks how they're gonna come at you like Barzini meeting.
Yeah, silly rap feuds trying to distract you.
Yeah,
that's it. And it's crazy how much that marinated and that came to fruition later on down the road.
Right.
And it's just like he was talking bars the whole time.
Like, yeah.
He's like, this is how they're going to do it.
Well, regardless of like how anybody or we feel about Jay-Z, I mean, the man's obviously an icon and definitely somebody that can at that time coach Drake into and which I sometimes I look at it today and like Drake is now the Jay-Z of back then. Era. Yeah. Like what Jay-Z was doing for him back then.
Now what Drake has been doing for the last say 7 years
to a lot of these new artists.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite songs recently is Churchill Downs with him and Jack Harlow, and like Jack Harlow is like talking to him about it's hard to crack jokes when you really want advice. What's it like to touch gold every time you touch a mic? Like he's looking up to Drake like, you're my idol, like, you know, coach me. Right. And I'm just like, I remember with Drake, he was in the same shoes, getting the same feelings, and he's just like, listen, tell me what I need to do. Yeah. And it's just crazy how time flies, and now Drake is a veteran, and he's one of those guys that these new guys are looking up to and want to be like.
I think as a whole, this is definitely a 9. This is one of the songs where, like, again, it's a song that I have on many playlists, and it's just like, it's a solid vibe if you're a late night cruising. If you're at the crib just doing some random things, kind of gets you a little, gets the energy going. But if you're at the gym, you throw this on, you pushing weight. You pushing weight is getting you hype.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You getting hype. Placement on the album, perfect. I don't want this anywhere near the start of it. I want to work into the album, and you get straight to this. You see it, especially buying copies back then, like actual copies.
Yeah, I had a physical copy of this.
And you see Jay-Z, like, I think it's the 4th song from the bottom. Take your time,
bro. I was so pissed. I bought the physical copy of this from Walmart, and back then Walmart didn't sell explicit copies of albums. And when I got home, I realized it wasn't the explicit version, so I went back to try to exchange it, and they're like, well, we don't have that. And I was like, what the fuck? So I had the clean version, and it just pissed me off because it's like it's just annoying when you have an album that has a lot of curse words and explicit lyrics. You don't want to hear like a pause every few seconds. Like that's annoying.
Yeah. You don't get the full feel of it.
Right. So that was the last time I ever bought an album from Walmart. I think I still have this album to this day. I think it's in my movie cabinet over there.
I don't think I actually bought this physical copy, but I would like to get one.
Yeah.
I think this would be a good vinyl.
I want to have all the vinyls. Like we talked about, I want to start collecting vinyl.
Yep.
So Light Up, I would give it a 9 for sure.
Okay. Cool. I think that's a solid placement. Placement within the album, great. I wouldn't
think
change anything about it.
I think it's definitely one of my favorite Jay-Z and Drake collabs out of all the ones the one they did on Certified Lover Boy was kind of what was the one on Nothing Was the Same? It was drawing a blank on the title.
Talk Up.
Nothing Was the Same?
No. They got 4?
Paris Morton Music 2. It's something / Paris Morton Music 2.
Pound Cake.
That's it.
You got Pound Cake, then you got Talk Up, and then I guess you got the one Love All on
Certified Lover Boy. Okay, so it's Talk Up that I don't like. I do.
You don't like Talk Up?
I do like the Certified Lover Boy one.
Okay.
What Talk Up? That's from Scorpion.
Yeah. That hits. Hey, it's me.
Oliver just wanted to join the podcast. It's okay. He just wanted to give his opinion.
Why are you going over there, bro?
So yeah, 9, both 9s. All right, Miss Me, 3rd single off the album. Another collaboration with Lil Wayne. So as a single, this was another song we heard before the album.
Yeah.
And I guess it was, as a single, a teaser of the album. Absolutely loved it. Right. Drake was just spitting on this song.
Yep.
Definitely just, I mean, I don't know how many bars it was, but it was lengthy. His verse was lengthy.
You got 5 minute song.
So probably just 240 of him just spitting.
Yep. I think Wayne did 24 bars. So I like the song. It's just not something I go back and listen to often.
Really?
When it does come on, it's a good vibe. But it's like, I don't know, it just didn't hit for me, to be honest. I think there's better songs on the album than this. But obviously, too, again, we're going back to that era. This song was recorded right before Wayne went to jail, and it was put out right before he went to jail. So this was as a pinnacle to that era of like Drake running the company, and he is the poster boy of that company. I think this was a good song for that, and it kind of laid out a platform to where like he's where Drake started hopping on everyone's stuff. Yeah,
and you wanted him to be a feature on your album.
Exactly.
If you had Drake on your album,
it was doing numbers.
It was doing numbers.
Yep. I think that was the start of it. So as a poster of what it represented for that time period, I'll give it an 8. For a song on the album, I would definitely put it lower, but it's just not my favorite, to be honest. But it's good. It's good. It's still one of the songs that he produced.
I would give it an 8 as well.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it. Not something I go back to all the time, but if I ever feel like listening to this album, I definitely go to it and put it on. And I always got a spit the bars word for word. Always gotta do that. Makes me feel like I'm a good fan.
Yeah, I think that's a solid number. Again, the third single, and we're getting to the nearing the end of the album, so it's definitely we've hit a lot of good songs. So not everything is going to be a 10, obviously.
No, of course not.
It's a very consistent vibe for the song,
for sure.
So I think 8's a good number. Moving next into we're doing CC's interlude. The first interlude.
Love it.
First interlude.
Love it.
I think to start off the timestamp and interlude venture throughout his whole career, great. I think beat wise, plain and simple, a lot of room for him to do what he needed to do and just get his vocals off.
Yeah.
Vocally, great. Vibes are there. Again, another song that you're going to be either at the crib having some drinks, just vibing out by yourself, or you're cruising late at night and you just got this down, windows down, rolling, and you're just vibing out.
Yeah, definitely. The production is very moody, very late night atmospheric. Definitely something, like you said, you could put on and just cruise to, just vibe to.
Yep.
Definitely one of those good background songs that you don't really have to like pay attention to. You don't really have to listen to. Mm-hmm. You can just put it on in the background and just let it play at like a lower volume. You have some friends over, just vibing, chilling with your loved ones and just enjoying the vibes. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what interludes maybe they're shorter songs, and they're not supposed to really necessarily mean anything or have any meaning behind them. Mm-hmm. They're just something that fit the album, the mood of the album, and something you could vibe to.
It was placed. I think the placement on the album is not as strategic as many other interludes, because usually an interlude would be kind of like
more at the beginning.
Well, I would say more like middle, kind of, because it switches up the flow within the album itself. But with this being the third to last song on the album, definitely set the mood. It follows the mood within the whole album itself. It switches back from, obviously, you get the feels to rapping to back to feels, this, that, and the other. And for the interlude, CC's interlude, I'm going to give it 7.5. Just one of the interludes. Obviously, it's the first one, so you're always going to remember it. Again, I don't go chasing for it. If it comes up, we listen to it, of course. But just one of those things where it's just like you don't come across too often in the playlist. In the deep sea of our playlist that we have, it just doesn't come up often. So, and I don't go chasing for it.
I'd give it an 8. It's one of the higher songs I listen to from this album. Yep. If I'm diving into the album again, and probably if I'm just picking, probably be maybe the third or fourth song I would pick.
I feel like whenever you go back with this album, that's what you start with.
CC's interlude. Yeah, probably because it's short.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good starter for sure. Just put it on, get the vibes going.
Yep.
And don't have to pay again too much attention to it because it's a great background song.
I think they could have switched that CC's interlude with Fireworks. I think that could have been switched.
I like Fireworks at the beginning though.
Do you?
Because it opens up the album really well. I think the first song of any album,
it does give good vibes. I will give it that.
I think the first song of any album should show you
and emulate that
what the vibe of the album is going to be like.
Yeah.
And I think Fireworks does a good job on this album. I really think the best opening song of all his albums is Over My Dead Body for Take Care. I think that one superbly shows you what the type of vibe this album is going to have.
All right, pause.
All right, so next we have Find Your Love. Another single, more of the kind of the R&B side of Drake. The first two singles, Over and Miss Me, were more on the rapping side. So, Find Your Love.
This is the start of his Afrobeat side. I think this is my favorite song off the album.
Okay,
100%.
All right.
Obviously, it got the music video straight as soon as the album released. This was the first music video. You got Jamaica.
Cool video. Really cool video.
He's mixed up with a girl. Fine little piece. that is mixed in with the wrong people in Jamaica.
Yeah, like she's like with the gang leader or something.
Exactly. And he does his thing. He's hopeless romantic. He's trying to get this girl. He's trying to pull some strings, but he starts messing with the wrong people. And then the ending clip is where he gets shot.
Some Degrassi callbacks.
Again, this resonates with me so much just because, and I think this is why it's my favorite song off the album, is because hopeless romantic back then, and just like this gets you in the feels. It just puts you in a very vivid imaginary scene within yourself, to where like once this comes on, you know exactly the girl you're thinking of when the song comes on, 100% to this day. And this came out 14 years ago.
Yeah, I'm with you. Loved it from the jump. I love the opening like drum set on it, and I want to say this was a Kanye production too. I don't
see it was.
It was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
it was. Actually, he's composed. He has composer credits on it as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm more than just an option. Definitely an iconic Drake song. One of his classics. Definitely, when it's all said and done, whenever he's done, this will be one that like, hey, this is who he was.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think this was a very pinnacle song to set stepping stones into the career.
100%. This entire album was a stepping stone. It was an example of what we could expect from Drake, what kind of artist he was wanting to be,
the versatility.
This
actually, I'm pretty sure this started his relationship with Popcorn too, which obviously, if you do follow his career, him and Popcorn, they've done amazing things together within collaborations.
They collaborated a lot on Views. To be honest, that was the first time I really was like introduced to their collaboration. Yeah, and Popcorn. Yeah,
Popcorn's a good artist.
I've never like dived into any of his music, but
my boy Ricky up in Vermont, whenever I was living with him, he's Jamaican.
Okay.
Whenever we go to work, it's just Popcorn, Vibes Cartel. We in there. So I think as a song on the album, solid 10 for me. It's everywhere on every playlist, no matter if I'm at the gym or not. I'm always going to go back to it. I listen to it at least once a week.
Okay.
It's just a pinnacle song within the album, to where like I know for sure that's a good representation of that album.
I'd give it a 9.
9?
Not a complete 10 for me.
Okay.
But I definitely love it, and it's one of the top songs I go back to when I go to this album for sure. And
I get it. I don't know, man. This whole album brings back memories, but like this song in general, like I remember just rewatching the music video.
The music video was cool. It was definitely creative and different.
It was.
It was one of those kind of more lengthier music videos where there were sections where
it was storytelling.
Right. It didn't have any music to it, and it was setting up this whole story behind it.
Like the opening scene was, you hear the waves crashing, birds chirping, and then you got this
and then he's
the OG.
Yeah, and he's talking. Yeah, he's talking to some guy, and he's like,
the G is giving him game on like,
you need to get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
And he's like, I still need to like say something.
I just need to see her.
Yeah,
that's it. I just need to see her, man.
Okay, but you're gonna die, bro. They're gonna kill you. I mean, is she worth it?
It's just real shit.
Is she worth it?
I mean, sometimes is the pussy worth it? Sometimes it is. I'm gonna be honest. Not even gonna lie.
Depends on my relationship with the girl.
Shit. Sometimes it's just too good. Anyways, last song on the album.
Thank Me Now.
Thank Me Now.
It ain't Thank Me Later. It's Thank Me Now.
You like that?
You can Thank Me Now.
You like playing on words?
Dude, love this song.
Good outro.
Very good outro.
Yep.
You can thank me now.
Like this is, I guess.
Thank me later. Yeah, I know what I said.
Yep.
But later doesn't always come. So instead.
So he's saying you can thank me now for this great ass album I just put out for my first debut.
Correct.
That's it. That's all you need to know about. That's it. Good verses on it. Good melody. Good outro. I think it kind of sums up the whole album very consistently.
It's like 4 or 5 minutes, and
5.5.
It's just 5 minutes of him just spitting.
Yep.
Just going.
Yep. Just kind of going into it, and I think as an outro, it's everything you need.
For sure.
Everything you need. It kind of sums up, again, like I said, the whole album as a whole, as vibes, and it gives himself his own flowers, which duly right he deserved for a great debut album. Simple as that.
True.
Simple as that. As a song, to me, I'll give it a solid 8. Solid 8. I think we're still composed by him, composed by T. Mosley, and just a solid ending to the album. It's not one that I really go searching for, and I think that's what gives it an 8 for me. And I don't know, there's not really much more to say because it just speaks for itself. Again, giving flowers to himself and just closing credits. That's it.
Yeah, very good outro. I'd give it an 8.
Yep.
And it was good setup to the future of what we could expect from Drake. Again, the whole album as a whole is pretty rookie-esque. You know, I would say out of all his albums, the weakest bars.
Yeah.
For him.
Yeah.
Not to say that the songs were weak or anything, but it was just basic. It definitely was like, okay, yeah, he's new, he's up and coming, he's still learning how to rap and still learning the rap game.
The writing perspective.
The writing perspective.
And how to compose. Yeah.
And if you were just to compare all of his outros from here on out, you could definitely say, yeah, that's the weakest one. But catchy, loved it. Definitely one of my favorites off the album. Definitely go back to it.
I agree with that one. I think when you look at it as a whole, great debut album, still a lot to learn, which, I mean, now that we can think back in retrospect of how his career has gone, he definitely did his job in learning.
Absolutely.
And growing as a whole. So don't hate the debut album at all. Very consistent all the way through. Some shakies here and there, but as a pure Drake fan, I can't hate it whatsoever.
I'm with you on that, man. I definitely think it's an underrated album.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of newer kids, that are like Drake fans. I remember when it was unpopular to be a Drake fan.
To be in the trenches.
Yeah, for real. Like you would get made fun of for being a Drake fan.
Yep.
But I noticed a lot of some of these people that were like speaking about, like talking good about Drake in the whole Kendrick Lamar beef and stuff, and I'm like, y'all like saying how like a lot of Drake's newer stuff is like so good and everything. I'm like, y'all don't even know.
Yep.
Like his older stuff is honestly way better. Not to say that he's still not making good music, he is, but the older stuff, like from Views on down, is like, or I should even say fucking More Life on down was really good.
All right, ending credits, 14 songs, an album as a whole. What are you giving it for his albums?
For Drake album as a whole, I'd give it a 7.
7. Yeah, I think 7.5, 8. Definitely some learning to go into it when it comes to composing. Some bangers. I'm not gonna lie, some bangers.
Absolutely.
Good vibes all the way through. It definitely, you could tell the level of experience that he had in the game. Again, debut album, so like there's a lot of learning that needs to be had. But as a whole, to really get your feet wet into this industry, solid release.
I agree. Definitely a solid release and a good starter. And I would say if somebody wanted to get into Drake, definitely hand him this album for sure. Yeah.
That's a good point. If you're getting introduced to Drake and you've never really been a huge fan, always start from the beginning.
Correct.
Always start to where he started so you can see the progression. See where he's at now. That way you can fully appreciate the journey. Plain and simple.
Same way we appreciated the journey.
Exactly.
And like that's something else you could think about for artists. It's like they're not going to be just these tremendously talented super mega stars from the beginning.
Yep.
It's a learning curve just like any job.
Yep.
And when you see an artist perform better as time goes on, then you can appreciate it more. Yeah, this was his rookie debut, and it could have been completely terrible, or it could have been mid, or it could have been pretty decent. And again, I'd say it was pretty decent.
Yeah,
overall.
I agree. Well, I think that's it. You want to log us off?
Yeah, bro. So yeah, you guys let us know what you guys want to, how you guys feel about the album, and
drop comments down below
for sure, and anything you might want us to review or talk about next.
Yep. If you think we missed anything, any key points that we need to hit, definitely want to hear your feedback, because this is a great album. And if you haven't heard it, definitely go give it a listen. Then come back to the comments, drop what you think. Definitely some pretty good points that were made, and I don't hate it whatsoever. I think this is a great discussion.
I agree with you, brother.
So, all right, let's go.
I'm out.
All right, we're out. Peace.